record? All right. Well, so first of all, so this technology is in the world of stem cells. So let's talk about what this technology does. So this technology, over 20 months ago, Rick and I were asked, have you been patched yet? And we had no idea what that meant. No idea. So when we were asked that question at the time, my husband was actually bleeding internally, which when we learned about stem cell activation technology, I thought, this might be something interesting because he was a car dealer for over 20 years. And so the stress, I think, took a lot on his body. I run an international women's ministry and homeschooled my kids. And so when we were asked that question, it was like, no, and maybe we're interested, maybe we're not. But what this technology does is actually activate stem cells. And so the technology is not on trial. Okay. This technology is very, very real. It is not, I repeat, not on trial. Lifeway just won the Biotech Breakthrough Award in the Stem Cell Innovation of the Year. Okay. So it's not like this is something that you're like, oh, no. It is very, very, very real. And we're talking from thousands upon thousands of nominations all over the world from 15 different countries. This technology just won. Okay. So very, very real. Okay. So this technology is activating stem cells instead of stem cell injections. Okay. So why the X39? By the time we're 30, half of our stem cells go dormant. They go to sleep. And by the time we're 60, 90% of them are dormant. So we're taught that if you can go and get stem cells injected, your knees, your back, your neck, whatever it is, will start feeling better because stem cells are truly, they're the master building block of the body. Okay. So the older that you get, the slower that you heal. Okay. And the harder it is to just live life. All right. So you get that when you get out of bed, all those things because your stem cells are going dormant. They do not die. And that is something in the medical world that they don't really talk about. Okay. So, like I said, stem cells are a hot topic because they're the master building block of your body. It's their job to repair, renew, fix whatever is broken. So if you were to burn your hand on your stove and you have awake and alert stem cells, your stem cells are undifferentiated, which means they have the ability to turn into whatever cell is necessary for your body to fix. So as
Okay.
an entrepreneur, start thinking about this. Okay, we're talking people with any condition, you wake up the stem cells, your stem cells are heat-seeking missiles. So they're going to put together a to-do list of what's broken in a person's body, and they have the ability to turn into whatever it is that needs to be fixed. Okay, so it's really incredible. Now, our founder, to bring some real validity, is David Schmidt. He's the founder, he's the CEO, and he's our inventor. Now, over 20 years ago, he was contracted by the US military to come up with something that the Navy SEALs could utilize that would keep them awake for 24 to 36 hours straight, ready for combat. Because at the time, our military was hooked on amphetamines. And so it wasn't their fault. They were hooked because they were having to be, alert. And so he was already working with, not for, but with the US government on defense weaponry. And so they knew he was an inventor. So they said, look, we'd like you to shift your attention to our Navy SEALs. And it cannot be a drug or a stimulant that they put in their body. We need something to keep them awake. So he began to study the body, and he actually found that scientists prior to him studied frequencies of light and colors of light, that what would happen when the body accepts the different light frequencies. And he found that the body had chemical reactions to different colors of light. Okay. So like in the sunlight, what does the body do? It produces vitamin D. So he began to study and he found that we have biophotons in us. So if we have light inside us and there's DNA chemical reactions due to light, what if the light that is inside us is actually reflected back into our body? So he began to study through a DITI. He found all kinds of different colors of frequencies. And he, interestingly enough, found a red light that when reflected back into the body, because we emit light, there's nothing weird about that. We find each other through infrared guns, right? So it's not just heat, it's different colors of light. He found a red light that when reflected back into the body naturally elevated adrenaline. So this right here is the first ever over 20 years ago energy enhancer photobiomodulation technology that David Schmidt created. Okay, so Michael Phelps got wind of it. Stanford University utilized this for their swimmers, so not just the Navy SEALs, but for their swimmers. And then 9/11 hit, and David lost his funding from the government. Obviously, why? Because 9/11 hit. We needed to focus our attention on other things. And so he began to look at, he was like, okay, we were able to find that. What about other frequencies? So he started studying the other frequencies that the body emits. He found a red light with the energy. He found a blue light, a pink light, a purple. He found all these different colors of light that the body would have different chemical reactions. But in 2008, he began to focus his attention on stem cells. Okay. So he did it. After 10 years, $4.5 million, he found the specific frequency of light that when reflected back into the body naturally wakes up stem cells. Okay. So this has over 70 global patents. The technology is known as an X39. Okay. And the patent states that the body elevates in response to the light frequency that the body accepts. The body elevates a GHKCU copper peptide. Now, that GHKCU copper peptide is known as a holy grail of healing. Okay. So people were trying to synthetically put it in their body in 1973. Well, David found how you actually elevate it just through light frequency. And then the stem cells started activating. So when he found that, he knew that he created a solution that opportunity would be attached to it. So he started thinking, should I do this through telemarketing or should I do this through the TV? And he went back to the way that the energy enhancers got through um to the Stanford University. It was all word of mouth, right? And so he began to really look at this and he said, okay, we are in business because if we can do this through a business of word of mouth, people are going to start talking about the testimonies that they have. Okay, so that's what ended up happening. So this technology does not get in the way of any medications. It's completely holistic. It is not putting anything in the body. It is simply reflecting that frequency of light back in the body. And nobody else has this. It is just us. Okay. So that's what's key is nobody else has this. Okay. So you have to picture that there's a dimmer switch inside the body. And the longer that somebody utilizes this technology, the more things happen in the body. Okay. So all the clinical research is all there. Okay. Again, it's not on trial. I mean, the biotech award that put anybody to shame that said it might not work. But what they found is when those stem cells are woken up, let's say that there's nothing wrong with somebody. If they say, I'm in perfect condition, it doesn't matter. Even if they're in perfect condition, these things happened. Now, if they're not in perfect condition, the stem cells, you know where the stem cells are going to start focusing, right? But if they say, well, I'm in perfect condition, well, COVID hit, most everybody got hit with COVID, right? So you have to think mental clarity, energy, vitality, the stamina, all those things start building back up because that GHKCU copper peptide goes to work. Increase strength, improve skin appearance, improve sleep. Everything starts happening, and the testimonies become so big that this thing is starting to really move. So, this is the latest clinical research, okay? After 3 years, because they said, why is everybody looking better? Okay. They wanted to really dig in at the mitochondrial level. If you utilize this technology longer than 6 months, at the mitochondrial telomere level, the age reversal is an average of 8.5 years. So this technology is unbelievable. So anything from a broken bone, which is what you're seeing right there, the bottom one is the broken bone, all the way to a little boy with a mass in his leg, it's gone. A1C level issues, so diabetes, it's unbelievable. All the way to acne, all the way to horses. They utilize this technology in the PBR. So the bull riding, they use it for the bulls, they use it for the horses, and they use it for the riders. And again, people just wouldn't utilize this if it really wasn't doing what it says that it does. It's starting to really hit. And Marilyn is an entrepreneur, so she looked at this and she said, "Oh, the Spanish market is wide open because it just really started taking shape." So she was like, "This is huge." Okay. So this picture whatever it is that somebody has going on, every single from an entrepreneur's mindset. My husband and I looked at this and we said, "You're telling us everyone has stem cells that are going dormant, and everybody needs this." Like that to us was mind blowing. And then when you looked at the clinical studies, the long-term results, 4,000 genes reset within the first few days, 4,000 genes, then the brain becomes balanced at about 6 to 7 weeks. So we are seeing autistic children starting to speak that had been nonverbal for 17 years. Okay. This is very normal, very normal. So PTSD, anxiety, depression, memory loss. Okay. Very, very normal. And then the collagen increases, which, yes, hair, skin, nails, that's wonderful. But really, the collagen is the matrix of the body. So somebody that likes to work out really understands the collagen piece. When the body produces collagen, the ability for the body to move in a way that it hasn't moved in a really long time happens. So our elderly are able to get up and out of a chair, like that piece. Okay. And then the cardiovascular of the age of the heart actually reverses. So my husband was a car dealer here in Katy, Texas, and his dad was actually came in town and he was in heart failure. And so he came in town to say goodbye to our children. And so, when he lives in London. And so I looked at Rick and I said, my husband had already stopped snoring after 3 days. And his internal bleeding issues after about 7, 8 weeks, he stopped needing to get iron infusions. So we knew it worked, but we're talking heart condition. Like that was pretty heavy. So we began to patch him while he stayed. Now he continued to patch for 4.5 months. And then we got the results that he was no longer in heart failure. That's when my husband sold the dealership. So we knew that what we had our hands on was very special. And I know that some that watch this or you're watching this, because we're in Houston, Texas, I have a lot of professional athletes that utilize this technology. So the X39 and the X49 are soccer players, are NFL players, are NBA players. I have a pretty large gym in Stafford, Texas, that they have just nothing but pro athletes. They put this on their athletes. So the X39 and the X49 together are known as the performance bundle because the X39 they heal faster, the X49 the muscle gain and the ability for the athlete to perform at a high level but the heart level come down is actually proven. So it's not if it works, it absolutely works, but it's how it works, right? So it's very, very special, very unique. Nobody else has this. Okay. So how you wear the patch, okay, and then we're going to jump into the other side. 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Okay. So anybody that you're starting to think about, because that's what ends up happening, welcome to X39 because everybody needs it. They would wear the patch 12 hours, take it off. They can put it on their dog and then throw it away after 16 to 20 hours because it's activated the second that it touches your heat of your body. Okay. So throw it away. And then your body has to rest because it's your body that's doing the work. Just like your body is producing the vitamin D in the sun, your body's producing that GHKCU copper peptide. Okay. It has to rest. You want to drink water and electrolytes because your body is truly doing all the things. Okay. And so, what to look for? You want to know who's at the top. My husband and I were looking at another franchise and we looked at this and we were like, okay, David Schmidt fits the bill. And we're going to cover him in one more thing in a minute. So, he fits the bill. It's highly consumable. Everybody needs it. When you see the numbers as an entrepreneur, you're about to be really mind blown because my husband's a numbers guy. The company's been around for 20 years, so it's not going anywhere. And they have 20 more years of patents that have already been accepted as patents. So we are lock tight. You were looking at Apple or Microsoft before as Apple or Microsoft. So we looked at that and we're like, okay, so this is not just cute. This is very, very real. Okay. And then we're very busy. We're entrepreneurs. So a duplicatable business was absolutely incredibly vital. Okay. And then, sorry, I'm like, are my dogs okay? Okay. Sorry, the dogs. But but so duplication is absolutely incredibly vital. Okay. So for us, because we're entrepreneurs, so the duplication piece is really important to us because it had to be where the system would work for us. We didn't work for a system, if that makes sense. So the duplication was there. Okay, so you're looking at duplication. So really, it was taking us out of a red ocean industry, which was the car business, and putting us into a blue ocean industry. Okay, because nobody else had it but us. Nobody else had it. So we were absolutely incredibly floored. Okay, so it was the right company, the right leadership, the right field leadership. It was everything that we could possibly want, and the timing is perfect. Okay, so what we're looking at as an entrepreneur, you're always wanting to be in that early adopter stage. Innovators, it takes a little bit more time to build a business because you're proving that it actually works, if that makes sense. So Rick and I have never timed it correctly, okay? Because usually in the business, it's like, okay, we want to be in that stage where it's already proven itself, but it's before the chasm where everybody has it, right? And so we're in this perfect stage where the growth is now we went from a $20 million company to a $600 million company. The growth is there. And then the future of household technology. So we have in 5 years, I don't even think Marilyn knows this. So Marilyn, get ready, girlfriend. The patented technology that's coming out in 5 years, there's a generator. This generator in the real estate world, your minds are about to be blown. In 5 years, this generator has already been created and already patented. So I've got a lot of real estate people that are jumping very high. Okay. This generator actually works with any type of fossil fuel thrown into it. You can put diesel mixed with gas and it works. So we're looking at the future of household technology. LifeWave is literally going to take all the people in somebody's organization and also duplicate it into the generator. So you don't have to build a second business. So Rick and I looked at this because we're entrepreneurs and we're selling our car dealership once we really began really looking at this and really making money, right? We needed to replace the income that we were making with the car business. But once we did that, we needed to sit with David and we needed to hear his heart. And when we started hearing it, I was like, my God, bless America. God, you have put this in our heart, on our hands in like the perfect timing. The technology that's a water light infusion technology, this technology, they're seeing instantaneous results the second that somebody is sitting in front of an infrared camera and they drink the water, which my husband and I have the water machine. We're one of the few that got it so that we could try it. The second that the water goes down the body in front of an infrared camera, the inflammation inside the body goes away. It's mind blowing. Okay. So when Rick and I looked at this, we said, okay, this is truly the future of household names, and we are before the chasm. And then in the next couple months, a documentary called The Code of Creation is coming out. And that documentary actually talks about and has very well-known scientists come on and talk about the technology. And so when I tell you the timing is just perfect, it's ridiculously perfect. So then we talk about duplication. So this is at info.com. So if somebody says, well, I need to see the patents, the studies, testimonies, boom, 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 boom. This is at info.com or this is at info.es. Either one of those. So for the Spanish world.es, either one of those, duplication. So it's okay. You want to see the patent, you want to see the video, you want to see the studies, here you go. Right. And so we knew the momentum was picking up. So this, you're seeing 20 million in 2021. We're almost close to a billion. It is the fastest growing direct sales company in the world 2 years in a row. The momentum is ridiculous. So when we saw this, we realized that the system was there. All it was, did we want to share it? Because it's going to be in every household. The only question is who told them about it. And in the Spanish world, we just opened it up in Mexico last year. So the Spanish community is starting to grow, but is so open, it's mind blowing. So we looked at this and Rick said, look, I've worked 60, 70 hours a week. We've heard about residual income. We never found the right vehicle for that residual income, if that makes sense. It was always too late to the game, if that makes sense. And so we looked at this and we said, this is it. Now, at the compensation level, they created this to be the most aggressive compensation plan truly in the history of direct sales. They took the best of what is called a binary. So people are like, oh, I love a binary, or oh, I love a unilevel. Well, they married them. So there's actually 9 ways that LifeWave pays you. So you build an organization, you tell the people that you know and love. Out of that organization, you earn a percentage of the lesser of the two. That's the binary piece. And then you get a spot in the binary. And so let's say that you jumped in with Marilyn, anybody that joined after you, their volume falls underneath you, even though you never meet them. So that's a binary piece. And then the unilevel structure is as you start telling people, and if they begin to a franchise, which means start sharing people, then all of a sudden you get a portion of that franchise. You get a portion every time they share. You get a portion whenever somebody joins your organization, you get a portion. Then in that binary piece, then if you decide, you know what, yeah, I'm going to run and I'm going to run very, very quickly, then you get the fast start bonus, and the people underneath that you begin to tell the technology to gets a fast start bonus of up to $450 in 9 weeks, which may not sound like a lot to you because you're an entrepreneur, but to some people, that's a car payment. That's a big deal, you know? And so they said, look, we're going to take this where people can run and earn in multiple, multiple ways so that every time, if they do grow an organization, every time somebody even coughs, they get paid so that it's constant. And so it's a very aggressive compensation plan so that people would want to start sharing and start talking. And so when we looked at this from the business standpoint, from a conventional business where we were used to high startups, we're also in real estate. So we purchase a lot of real estate. And so for us, it was, that's where our money has gone is real estate because you guys are wise. So, but for us, it was like, okay, this is a low risk. All we need to do is wear the patches and open our mouth. And so when we looked at this, it was the duplication that really was key for us to succeed. From a business standpoint, this is looking like a train that once it takes off out of the station, you can't stop the bullet train. It keeps going. So that's what Marilyn said. She said, okay, if I help the people that I'm closest to, entrepreneurs that jump in, and we get this bullet train and their bullet train rocking and rolling very quickly, we will also have a residual income for the rest of our lives. So that's the piece of the pie. Now, the binary, this is very exciting. So let's just pretend like you're already in and you say, okay, I have several people somebody has diabetes, somebody has Lyme disease, somebody has a backache, a neck ache. They have this, they have that, they had a stroke. Doesn't matter. The answer is yes. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. And you're starting to go, all these people, you put them on a Zoom like this, okay, which we have multiple Zooms, including multiple Zooms by doctors, okay? they can jump in and say, okay, I need the technology, period. I need to wear it no matter what. They can do premium like my husband and I did because we were going to jump, we were going to tell the world, but we also have 4 children, so we were going to patch all of them. The next is the Advanced Plus, which gives us 11 sleeves. So that's 11 months of the X39. So I could loan a sleeve to somebody while their sleeves are shipped so that they could already start wearing the technology. Because by the time 4 or 5 days come, people are usually feeling something. Okay. And then they'd give us a sleeve when theirs comes in. And then the advanced is, you know what? I know a few people, we're going to run with this. Let's rock and roll. Let's go. And then the core is for somebody that just says, let me see if it's right for me. Here's the key. They go core to premium. It doesn't matter. They get a spot in your binary. So let's say it's Aunt Susie who says, I just want to try it. She gets a spot in your binary at core. Anybody that joins after her, the volume starts accruing underneath Susie. She wants to start capturing those market share dollars. All she has to do is start sharing as well. And she gets a portion of what you're placing underneath her. It's extremely, extremely attractive for entrepreneurs. Extremely attractive. So, and then the monthly subscription, people, the only thing you own your franchise for, this blew our minds. Your overhead is wearing the patches. That's it. That's it. So you don't have to keep inventory. Even our doctors, we've got a plethora of doctors. You don't have to keep your inventory. Now, I said earlier, people might come to your mind that you say, okay, what about this person? What about, what about this? What about this? This is the power of duplication, right? So let's say that somebody says, well, Marilyn, I'm really excited about this because I have somebody on my mind that struggles with shingles. Perfect. Marilyn goes, great. Let me send you a Zoom and then let me send you a couple of testimonies. Boom, done. Well, what about carpal tunnel? What about sleep? What about prostate cancer? The answer is yes. On everybody, on everything, every single time, given enough time, copy and paste business. So for us, now my husband and I, we said, look, we're going to tell everybody that we know, period. Like there's not going to be one person that hears about it from somebody else. But some people might just say, I just want to get my patches paid for, right? That they might just want their patches paid for. That was fine too. But we knew every single person needs a miracle. And every single person loves at least 4 people that need a miracle. We knew that. And so it was really who were we going who were we going to tell and who were we going to help tell, right? So that's it. Just, I mean, look at this. It just goes on and on. Nonverbal sun, on and on and on, so mind blowing, mind blowing, mind blowing. So with that, I would love to answer questions.
Yes, I do have a couple of questions about the first one. How big is the patch?
The patch is all, she's got it right there. Right there. So it's just a quarter.
It's like 1 inch big, right?
Yep.
Okay. It's like 1/4. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Uh,
You're
let's
on
see.
mute.
Yes, yes, you're right. So you guys already in Mexico?
So that's the beauty. We just opened in Mexico last year. So there is, I will tell you this, there is not a strong leader in Mexico yet. Okay. Now in Guadalajara, we do have a home office there. And the home office, so Rick and I, my husband and I are actually one of the global leaders. So we got on the phone because we know that we're going to be growing a team out there in Mexico. I've been praying for Mexico actually for a year, so I knew it was going to happen. So we met with Mario, who's down in Mexico, who's actually our Mexican market manager. And he said, you bring people. He said, we'll open up the office, the home office, and they can do presentations here all day long. He said,
Okay.
we're here to serve. and to go. Now, there is one couple in Mexico that's starting to share, but Mexico, I mean, come on. Like it's really like, but there she's very good. So she does do some presentations locally there. They're actually in the middle of, I can tell you what cities. Let me tell you which cities. Let me have my phone index it. But she wonder if I have WhatsApp on my computer. But this lady is very, very well spoken. So it's almost like you want somebody that's well spoken out there, because they can do, the presentations. Now, Josh and Priscilla, who Marilyn is with, they are actually from Guadalajara. They're from there. And
Okay.
so he will travel and do presentations as well. And Marilyn's going to be killer at the presentations. I mean, and Priscilla is actually a killer in the presentations as well. So the presentation's already done in Spanish. You are literally looking, so you got a picture, you are the first person, like really, just think about it. The first person that takes it and runs, it's mind-blowing. And that's what happened with Rick and I in Katy, Texas. So just so you know where our income is, and Marilyn saw it yesterday, our income is anywhere from 56,000 a month to 77,000 a month. And we've only been doing this for 21 months. So, and, but wait, it gets better. We don't have anybody in our organization that has ever really built before.
Okay.
Priscilla and Josh are the first ones that ever have, and they just started this about a month and a half ago, and they saw miracles with their daughter. So that's why they started sharing this. Um, so that gives you an idea how quickly this thing can move if you decide you want it to move. The systems works for you. So you can send them a recording, you can send them Spanish testimonies, you can, you know, I can do the presentation, Marilyn can translate, you can translate, you can do the presentation. I was doing my own presentations within a month just because I like science. And Danny, my friend, doesn't do a lot of science. He just cares about the money, which we wanted the money, but I like to know the science. I'm a science geek. And so for me, I want to know how it works. I want to know that it works. I want to know the biotech award. I want to know that I know that I know that I'm not selling snake oil, you know? And so by the time that somebody's usually done hearing my presentation, they're not in doubt because they understand all the awards that we've gotten and that you can't patent placebo, you know? So everybody has a different way of doing it.
Okay. Yeah. Let me talk to Marilyn tomorrow morning. Can you send me this video recording
Absolutely.
so I can share with a couple of my people? And Marilyn, what time can we discuss